Of the 2025 ACC football kickoff. A lot of good energy in the room and excitement as we welcome in Florida State to get us started today. Head coach Mike Norvell will offer his opening comments. Then afterwards, we will take questions from the room. So, Coach, the podium is yours.
Thanks so much. Well, it's great to be here today. Obviously, with Media Day, comes just one day closer to the kickoff to this season, and all things that are ahead. And so proud of our football team for the work that they poured in throughout this offseason, from the winter program to spring practice. Going through our tour of duty, the summer workouts, and coming up to report next Tuesday and back on the practice field 1 week from today. And they've done a remarkable job in the investment into each other, into pushing to hit and to reestablish that championship mentality and expectation that we have here at Florida State, and uphold the standard of what it is to be a Seminole. And we've got four remarkable young men that are here with me today that have done a wonderful job throughout this offseason of being great leaders, of being the willingness to be the example of what we want it to look like on a daily basis, and excited for the expectation for all things that are ahead this season. As we've gone into this offseason, it has been about bringing that daily edge, that desperation to go win on a daily basis. And in everything that we do, from whether it is in the weight room, whether it was on the field, meeting room, in the classroom, we wanted that sense of competition. And we wanted every day, right, to see guys that are willing to rise to the challenge to be their best. And this football team has done it. Whatever we put in front of them, right, whether it was academically coming off our spring semester, we had the best team GPA ever in program history. Right, they answered the call when it came to what we wanted them to do academically. When it was, whether it was in the weight room or tour of duty, we challenged them at new levels. Right, that it was probably some of the hardest workouts that we've ever had. Right, and to see those guys embrace that with literally with a smile on their face, knowing there was an opportunity to compete, to go get better. To see, the newcomers, the guys that have been a part of the program, to see them all work together. Right, to be able to set the foundation for what this football team's going to be. Because, all that we have is this season that's ahead. Right, and when you look through the past few years, we've accomplished some great things. We've experienced the highest of highs, and we've also found ourselves in a valley. We faced some disappointments. Right, but every part of it has come back to our response. And this team and this season that's ahead, I've got great expectations, got a lot of confidence because I've watched the work, because I've seen the investment. Right, I'm really proud and grateful for the coaches and the new leaders that we have within our coaching staff. Being able to have two of the best coordinators in college football, a couple of the best football minds that this game has. And Coach Malzahn and Coach White have done a wonderful job pouring into our players. Being able to establish a foundation throughout the course of the spring and be able to build concepts and a plan in place that are built for the great playmakers that we have. And so we're excited for all things that are ahead. It's an exciting time in Tallahassee. We got a great kickoff here August 30th with Alabama coming into town, and this football team, it is hungry. Right, it is bringing that daily edge in all things that we're doing, and there's a lot of wonderful things around our program. We have a newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium, which we're so excited to be able to be at full capacity. All right, our football only facility that we'll be moving into here this fall. I do want to take a moment just to thank our administration. Starting with President McCullough, his leadership, his vision, his continued push, to our AD, Michael Alford, to our board of trustees. We have an incredible group. Our chairman of the board, Peter Collins, and the work that they have pushed to continue to elevate our program in this new day of college athletics. I'm just so grateful for the support that we have and the investments that have been made from all of our boosters and everything that we're doing. And there are great days ahead here in Tallahassee and with this Florida State football program, and just excited to get back out on that field here this next week and everything that's in front of us.
For those in the room, we'll ask once again that with a question, if you'll identify yourselves and the agency that you're with. And, Coach, we already know a couple of folks that are going to have their hands up in the air. So far left, first row.
Coach, the enthusiasm that you had in your voice, I got excited. I almost laced up my helmet and went and played for you. But how excited are you, even though you didn't have the season that you projected that you would like to have had last year, how excited are you about this team? And what should the fans be excited about from this football team?
Well, I'm extremely excited. I'm excited because of the characteristics that I've seen from this team. From the newcomers that have joined, from all the players that have returned, because every one of them said yes to the expectation. And you don't come to Florida State unless you're willing to embrace the greatest of expectations, because there is a standard. And every day that standard has to show up. And as we've sat there and coming off a year that was a disappointing season, we had some real conversations. And ultimately it wasn't for everybody, right? The sacrifice, right? The investment, the work, the challenge, right? The confidence that had to be developed, right? Because every team and every player that stands in front of you is going to tell you how confident they are, right? But for that confidence to be real, it has to be earned. There has to be the work. There has to be the truest belief of being able to embrace that in all things that makes up who you are. And that's what gives me excitement for this year, because I've watched a football team of guys that have said yes. And they're not just saying it with their voice; they're saying it with their action. And we've got some wonderfully talented players, but even with all of them, none of them have hit their final stage. All of them are continued growth in progress, and they're embracing that journey. They're embracing the opportunity, and to see them come together, to see that excitement within the position groups, the side of ball, and then collectively as a football team, and just to see how much they enjoy who they're getting to do it with, and that gets me fired up. And all of it sounds good. Now we get to go get it done on the field, but I got a tremendous amount of confidence because of that work.
Coach, right side, second row. We'll have one or two questions right there.
Hey, Coach, Mike Norvell. This is Michael from PlantTheSpear.com. Congratulations on another season. I just want to ask you, you talk often about the climb, and that's been the mantra of Florida State football since you've been the head coach there. And it may have seemed like as you were recruiting and getting players in, you had a certain kind of a mentality that you were looking for in players. And you talked about the desperation that they always had, and you always recruited to that. Did it feel last year that maybe that was the missing element to the team, was that desperation, that sense of like we refuse to lose? And what gives you the confidence that you have that mentality this season?
Well, you talk about the climb, and we all have a desired destination. Everybody wants to get to the top, right? And we've seen that. A couple of years ago, we got to lift a trophy. Most people talk about it. We've seen it. We know what that looks like, right? But on the flip side of it, when you're climbing a mountain, there might be some times where you slip and where you stumble. But the most important step along the journey is the next one. And people that are willing, that regardless of circumstance, regardless of what you find yourself in, that you're willing to take the step to go be your best, to put everything that you have in, right? And I don't want a team full of sidekicks. Right? I want guys that are willing to grasp it, to hold it, to push it, to step forward, and to go be it. Right? And that's what's needed. And that's what I believe that I'm seeing within this football team. That's what once again, we start fall camp next Wednesday. Right? And I want them to be pissed off to go be their best every single day. Right? It's not about last year. It's not about anything that they've done up to this point in their career. It's about this season, with each day and every step that's in front of us, to go put it on display for what you want to be. Don't talk about it. Let's go do it, right? And I feel the confidence within the team because, once again, I see their work, right? I believe in who they are. I believe in the journeys that they've had. And no player on our team has had a seamless, perfect journey. There's been ups and downs for every one of them. But when they come and whether it was a recruiting process, whether it was the opportunity to come back and to be a part of what this team's going to be, I wanted guys that were on the edge of their seat, ready to go attack that work. And I can't wait to fall camp, because I'm going to challenge them every single day in everything you do, mentally, physically, relationally, all parts of it, because that's what the season's going to hold, right? And as we've seen that at an elite level, right, we also know we know how hard it is to win a game, to win a play, to win a rep, to obviously for what it takes for a season. But I believe in the group of guys that we've had that have come together. right? And and in today's age of college athletics, everybody has a choice because it's easy to leave, right? It's hard to stay, and it's hard to say yes when you know the expectations that are going to be put in front of you. And when you come to Florida State, well, you better embrace the highest of expectations, because what I have, it's what our program has. There is a standard of what it needs to look like. And I've got to uphold it, and so does everybody else a part of our team, players, coaches, every single one of us. But I believe in what it's going to be, and I'm excited to get back onto that practice field as we build and as we continue to climb to August 30th for our first opportunity to go put on display what this team has the potential to be.
Coach, we'll stay right there. His colleague to the right.
Coach Jesse Koger, PlantingSpear.com. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. So I want to ask you about Gus Malzahn. You bring him in as offensive coordinator. He's a guy that's got a ton of experience as a play caller. Obviously, he's been a coordinator on a national championship team, led a team to a national championship game as well. Can you talk about what that experience at that high level does for the program, and was that something that you really sought after whenever you kind of shuffled the coaching staff?
Well, I mean, it was, having the opportunity to have Coach Malzahn come and be a part of our staff was it was special. And it's somebody I've got a 20-year relationship with. All the respect in the world for the man, just the coach. I mean, he's somebody that infuses confidence to anybody around him because he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants it to look like. But it's the belief that he's able to pour into others, for what it takes on that journey. And you talk about the perspective. He does. He's been a very successful head football coach. Last time he was an offensive coordinator, he did win a national championship. And to make the choice and decision he made to come to Florida State, I mean that is the purpose, that is the reason. And we have an opportunity here to really do something special. And I think that his focus is there on the offensive side of the ball, and he's one of the best that have ever done it. But he also brings perspective as a big pitcher to continue to challenge every element within the organization, just to push to be the best, to be able to accomplish and do some of the things that he's been able to do on his journey, and what we all aspire to be.
Coach, we're going to see if we can squeeze in one last question in the next 2 minutes. We're going to go right up here, front row to the right.
Are you trying to put a time limit on my answer?
Sir, not at all.
I can give a long answer too.
Hey, Coach Mike, it's Chris Heidel from Herbertson Radio in Baltimore. Just talk about you personally as a coach this year, because you have all these great coaches around you to help you to get better and get back to where Florida State was 2 years ago. Just talk about having them in the room, knowing that you have new ears to help you get everything ready to go.
For us, as we all go through this, this career as players, coaches, everybody involved, it's who you get to do it with. That's what makes the journey special. And I've been blessed throughout my coaching career to be around a lot of wonderful coaches. And I believe that this is a special staff. And to be able to pour into them, to be able to help support them, to challenge them, for them to do the same for each other and for myself. I mean, it does make a great dynamic. It's one that I don't take for granted. And every day that I come to work, I mean, I want to be able to provide that, and I want to be able to receive that. And so that's where for me, as I reflect and I see, hey, with where things are within college football, with where things are within our team, our program, it's one of the elements of this season I'm really excited about, because, where I'm not sitting in just, one side of the ball or to have one focus as much as what I have in the past. I get to continue to invest into them. I've had probably more one-on-one conversations with our players than any point of my going into my 10th season of being a head coach, and that's what I do it for. I want to see these guys go fulfill all that I know that they can be. And the challenges that are out there for a student athlete right now is greater than it's ever been. Yeah, there's great rewards when it comes to that, but it's also unbelievable dynamics that they have to work through, and to be able to meet them where they are, to be able to continue to push them, to continue to help them understand all that they can be, more than just a jersey number, more than just a position, what the teammate that they can be, for this program, and for the guys that get to do it with it. That's what makes the journey worth it. And so I am grateful for the coaches that I'm getting to be a part of. I'm excited about some of the flexibility of what I get to do in my job on a day-to-day basis, and obviously just to be able to pour in and invest in the wonderful players I get to coach.
Coach, the timing was absolutely perfect, so thank you.
Beautiful.
If you'll switch places with Tommy, we'll bring the quarterback up and have a few minutes with him. Our first question, Tommy, is going to come to just to your left in the first row. So as you get settled, we'll bring the microphone directly in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Tommy, you've had a road, UCF to BC, now to Florida State. What is it about the Seminoles that spoke to you in the transfer portal, and specifically to Mike Norvell, and what this staff is doing that made this the right fit in your career?
Being a part of Florida State is a dream come true. It's been my dream school since I was a kid. So, you know, when they called and then Coach Gus Malzahn called, I thought it was the right thing to do. Be back with him and be a part of Florida State with Coach Norvell.
Tommy, we'll stay on the right side of the room, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Tommy, you've said some things this offseason that have obviously ruffled some feathers, got under some skin and all that. And as a quarterback, it's a position that people know for having to have some of that confidence and whatnot. So how do you balance that line between, or straddle that line between confidence and arrogance, or is there no line for you personally? And it's just, you speak how you feel and that's just what it is.
I know we stand on what I said, but there's no disrespect between that side or that team or anything like that. The confidence that I have in my teammates and the way we've been preparing and putting this preparation together this off season, I just feel confident in the guys and the work that we've been putting in. So just feel confidence in me and my teammates and Coach Norvell and how he's getting us ready to work and getting ready to play.
Tommy, left side. And, sir, if you'll please stand, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Billy Ray Mitchell from Sons of Saturday. Tommy, you and your coach both wear your heart on your sleeve, and your entire career you've embraced like that underdog mentality. And Florida State, great program, always has high expectations, but you guys are in some capacity a little bit of an underdog this year. How do you plan to bring your experience overcoming all of that adversity throughout your career to the group you're with this year?
Just like Coach said, just focusing on this season, put everything that happened in the past behind me, and just focus on being the best me I could be for my teammates and leading this group to go out there every Saturday and just go to battle and go to war and just make sure they get the best me that that I know I can be. So.
Thank you. Tommy, right side, fifth row. We're going to have back-to-back questions sitting side by side.
Hey, Thomas Christopher from the League Winners. How you doing, Tommy?
How you doing?
You've shown, great prowess as both a runner and a passer, and now you've reunited with Gus, who's going to be your OC. How is he tailoring the offense to your dual threat capabilities?
Coach Malzahn's gonna, he's gonna call plays and he's gonna, dial things up. He's a great offensive-minded guy. He knows ball, so he's gonna put me in the best position, for the team, and whatever he calls, I'm gonna run, and it's gonna happen.
Bren Pockers with the League Winners. Heading into the 2025 season, what are your personal goals, whether it's something you want to achieve in terms of statistics or just, from an overall team perspective? And as an overall team, where do you guys want to end up at the end of this season?
We're just gonna take it one day one day at a time. We're gonna earn it every single day. Like Coach Norvell said, we're gonna, he's gonna push us to be the best we can be every single day and try to, have that championship mindset and win every day. So right now we're just taking one day at a time, and we're gonna just earn it every single day and win day by day. We're not gonna, look in the future and make expectations and stuff like that. We're just gonna focus one day at a time, and we're gonna earn it and we're gonna work.
Tommy, left side. Sir, if you'll please stand. A lot of folks in here don't want you to get lost.
Owen Hillman, WVFS Tallahassee. You've described yourself before as a Jameis Winston type of quarterback before. What does that mean to you both as a player and as a person?
When I say that, I just mean like characteristics-wise. He's a big, goofy, outgoing person, and I'm the same way. I'm very energetic, I'm outgoing, very goofy, like to laugh, like to have fun. So I think it means a lot to be loose and, just rub off on my teammates.
Tommy, your last question, right side, just follow the center row up, just 3 in.
Hey, Tommy Graham Dietz, Boston College Eagles on SI. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, what's up?
You talked about kind of butting heads a little bit with Bill O'Brien. I'm wondering if you feel like, you wish you did anything differently in your time at BC and how it's prepared you for this next chapter of your life.
I'm very thankful for, Boston College and all the people there that supported me that I was there. I had a great time there, but we passed that. I'm focused on this season and focused on everything going forward with my new teammates and my new team.
Tommy, thank you. You and Daryl can switch spots, and
Thank
we'll
you.
spend a few minutes with our D linemen. Daryl, we've already got all 72 hands in the air ready to go, so we'll see what we can do in 5 minutes. We will start on the right side, second row. Gentleman there in the blue quarter zip.
Hey, Daryl, it's Michael with PlantTheSpear.com. You kind of got a slow start to last season, but then started really coming on strong there in your play. How do you walk into this season with the mentality of you've got to start strong and you've got to start fast in order for that defensive line to be successful against an offensive line like Alabama?
I mean, just the confidence I've been putting in this off season, just coming in the season confident and, just be willing to be desperate and take that next step.
Gonna go left side, almost to the wall, third row.
Katrina Sackins, Sports and Culture Media. How are you this morning?
Hey, how you doing?
At the end of last season, you declared for the NFL draft. You decided to come back, use that final year of eligibility. What went into that decision?
I feel like I left a lot on the table. I had a room to grow, so I just wanted to come back and be developed and lead this program in the best position that I know it's capable of. So, that was all that went into it, to be honest.
Daryl, right side, third row.
Hey, Daryl. Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Your highlights, your best plays, when you're rolling at your best, you've been described as unblockable and a force in terms of your size and movement ability. But as of now, it's just been flashes. How do you make your talents more consistent and more of a well-rounded game that shows up more play in, play out as opposed to spikes and lows? I mean, that just come with being consistent. Just working this offseason, just being the guy I can be. Like I said, just being desperate. Just taking that next step.
Daryl, left side, about the sixth row. We'll ask the gentleman to stand again, please.
Alrighty, sitting out in 2023 after your waiver was denied could not have been easy. How did you stay mentally focused and motivated to come back so strong in 2024?
I mean, 2023, is long gone. So, but those guys that I had around me, it was special. So, it motivated me to come to work every day to be the guy. With Coach Norvell, just motivating being that guy he be every day. I was willing to come to FSU and work. It's my dream school. 2024 is I sat out, so it took some time for me to get my game going, and I just got to be consistent.
Daryl, right side, second row, right at the aisle here.
Daryl, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Jesse Coker with PlantTheSpear.com. New defense this year. Can you give me some quick two-parter? One, give me some thoughts on the 3-3-5 and your place in it. What excites you about that defense? And then two, for the first time in 31 years, shout out to Odell, you will be playing for the first new defensive line coach at Florida State. Can you share some thoughts on what you've seen from T. Knight so far?
I mean, first I'm starting the 3-3-5 scheme. I play in the scheme. The scheme, it don't cause us to be just route to make plays and show our versatility and just be us. Just playing with Coach T. Knight, he's a great dude. Just bringing the energy. Coach Odell, he's still around. He's a great guy. So with them being in the room together, it's unmatched.
Daryl, your last question. Third row, left side, second person in there.
Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. Daryl, what's your overall thoughts on being named a Bobby Bowden Leadership Award recipient? And just what's your thoughts overall on just leadership in general?
I mean, just taking that next step. I want to be a vocal leader, and I wasn't that last year. So just coming to this season, I want to be more vocal and just become that leader that I need to be for this team.
Daryl, thanks a ton. You and Earl can switch spots, and we'll spend our last 5 minutes with our DB. A couple of hands in the air already, so why don't we start in the very back? Gentleman that's already asked Coach some questions. Thank you, sir.
Owen Hillman, WVFS Tallahassee. In Tony White's 3-3-5 scheme, I've heard you be described as the rover. How has that been different in terms of positional-wise versus what you've played before as a nickel and as a safety?
Just being at that rover position, I'm always in the intermediate level. So just being that guy, come off the edge, blitz, be in a post. I love the position. I'm ready for the opportunity, and I'm excited to, take the field with my guys.
Earl, right side, fifth row, hard to the right.
How you doing, Earl? Stephen Bernard, league winners. Quick question. Obviously, having a new DC in Tony White. Talk about Pat's role still with the defense. Obviously, you're one of the more versatile pieces in that secondary. Yourself, Edwin, Shaheem, those guys. Talk about how it's changed a little bit, even with Pat being there. What your role is going to be this year?
Saying Pat Surtain, Coach Pat. Repeat that question again.
Talk about your role in the defense, even with having Pat, but also having Tony thrown into that mix. What the scheme's going to look like in your role as well.
You know, a lot of things change, you know, with different coaches, a different scheme. But, you know, we're all, you know, just fitting in the right way, you know, just finding ways to be versatile, you know, just, you know, cause and wreak havoc for opposing offenses. And, you know, we're all excited for the new, you know, opportunity, you know, yeah.
Earl, left side, first row, right in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Earl, we've seen success with Tony White's 3-3-5 in the ACC. Had success when he came to Syracuse with it. What do you like the most about the scheme? And then about the man, Tony White, what is it about him that speaks to you as a leader?
What I like, you know, the most about the scheme, schematically, is, you know, it allows us to, like DJ said, show our versatility. You know, just play with that edge. You know, we can hit you from different points, you know, on the field. Just, you know, like I said, we're going to wreak havoc, you know, for opposing offenses. And we're just going to fly around. You know, that's something that Coach Tony White emphasizes, you know, being physical and playing with dominant contact, you know, playing with, you know, relentless effort. That's something that we harp on. That's definitely one of our focal points is going on into the season. You know, we're going to put emphasis on that. And as far as Tony White, you know, man, he's definitely a great leader. I'm glad that Coach brought him on the team. You know, we're excited to play for him. You know, he brings that fire, that edge, and that juice every day. And I can't wait to put that on display.
Earl, right side, fifth row, gentleman in the white shirt.
Brandon Pockers with the league winners. You know, over the spring, what was your mentality and what were you focusing on? And then as you head into fall camp and towards the regular season, what are you hoping to showcase and what are you hoping to build upon as you head into the regular season?
You know, I had a few focal points, you know, going on into the spring. You know, I was asked to be a leader, just be more vocal on the team, because, you know, that's what the team needs. As far as my game, you know, just bringing everybody up around me, as far as, you know, everybody on the defensive side of the ball, specifically the secondary, you know, just being that leader, you know, speaking up, you know, just, like I said, bringing those guys up around me because, you know, I treat everybody the same because, you know, everybody can be on it. You never know who can be on the field, whether it's a freshman, last year dude, you know, everybody has to get treated the same. So we attacked the day, you know, with a great mindset. You know, I harp on those guys every day, you know, just lock in, do what you got to do. You don't got to do nothing special to be special. Just continue to be yourself, put your head down and keep working. That's what we've been doing.
Earl, we'll stay on the right side, about the sixth row. Gentleman's got sunglasses on the cap there.
Earl, this is Taz Henry from College Football Sunday. Just a quick question. How important, during this climb that Coach Norvell talked about, how important is it to recruit the state of Florida? In your opinion, because I just noticed that this is one of probably the few schools, or if not the only school here today, that has guys all from the state of Florida.
You know, it's a great thing, you know, being able to come in and put on for this logo. Y'all know how big this logo is, you know, the standard that it upholds. So, you know, just staying in the state and coming playing for the state, you know, that's a blessing. And I encourage all recruits, you know, come put on for the state and come wear this logo.
Earl, your last question will be on the right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Earl, right here. In terms of the standard, it's been talked about a lot by Norvell. It's been emphasized by your teammates that got up here as well. You talk about what it means to wear the logo and play for the Spirit of the State. What does that standard look like at Florida State? What is that standard if you had to describe it in a couple sentences?
You know, just playing with tremendous effort. And like Coach said, just being relentless and being desperate. You know what I'm saying? Desperate to win, desperate to eat, and, you know, just desperate to succeed. You know, that's all he harps on. That's all. We hit on that every day. You know what I'm saying? You come here to be desperate and to succeed. You know, just like I said, put that logo on your chest and play for your last name in the school.
Florida State, thank you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Folks, Louisville is due up in the room next. That'll be at 11 o'clock.